Hello everyone, I believe we're live now. How's it going everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here and welcome to my live stream. Today we are going to be covering Pokemon Horizons, episode 124. Breaking into the Explorer's HQ. We get an evolution and some battles going on here. So how was this episode overall? Well, before we get into that, I just want to say before we get started, a few things. Obviously, you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, join the chat, vote in the poll, all that good stuff. Secondly, the music you hear comes from a separate stream, the Video Game Study Lounge, from Game Chops. Basically, it's lo-fi remixes of video game music, along with some originals sprinkled in here and there. You'll hear stuff from Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Earthbound, Halo, even Halo. Various different series out there. The most popular video game franchises, you'll probably hear something from it. So you should check that out. I got a link in the description. And also to let you know kind of what we do here if you're new. Usually give it about 5 to 10 minutes for people to show up in the chat. Then at that point, I'll give a summary of the episode, give my thoughts, assign a rating, and then, yeah. We usually go on about an hour, hour and a half, but probably going to be an hour today. So yeah, give me 1 second, just setting something up really quickly. Alright, anyways, now that that's done, oh jeez, let's see who's all here. It looks like we have Marianne. Hey, how's it going? Hi, Sharon. Can tell there's not much left in the series. Well, yeah, we have less than a year to go now. The reason why they had all these evolutions bunch up is to have their Pokemon to be stronger for the climax when they battle Spino. Hopefully this means we'll get the Armarouge and Swirlage battle. Maybe towards the end, we'll see. I'm fine. I mean, the past 4 Pokemon series were split into 3-year-long seasons, so why is this series split into arcs? What do you mean? Why? You're kind of asking a question that I can't really answer, but is that an issue? Can this series just be its own thing? This is the first Pokemon series to have a bunch of evolutions bunched together. Okay. And I don't think that's a problem, personally. Hoping the next Pokemon series will have the evolutions a bit more spread out. I'll take this. I think all these evolutions were pretty well handled, personally. They did not rush the Charcadet evolution. Why are people saying it was rushed? It was not rushed, dude. They literally did. Immediately after it was captured, it got development. To the point where people were like complaining that it was hogging screen time. Well, yeah, I just need the armor to evolve. I feel like we're just complaining to complain. That's how it evolves. That's literally how it evolves. It's just like Gimmighoul. Gimmighoul evolves by getting 1,000 coins. I just wish Charcadet had one more episode of development at BBA. A training battle with Kieran against Hydrapple and Grimmsnarl. That makes sense. A night fight, dragons and trolls and fairy tales. That'd be kind of cool. And you're right. We should have stayed at BBA for a little bit longer, at least another episode or two. Just saying. Kieran would get a fair amount of screen time. Yeah, maybe I'll make that video. I haven't had a chance since it's been kind of hectic here, and I got something major happening this next week. So we'll see. Sup, Pokefan? So we get 100% Zygarde in the next episode. We will either get that or 50%. I don't know yet. Cool how Charcadet evolved into the Fiery Inferno. See? It was a cool evolution. It was cool. Just saying. Now we have the Knight Brothers. So Headering will be battling in the next episode. In the next episode, yeah. Kind of gotta put everything together if we're gonna pull off a victory here. Not much. Just wanted to get my thoughts real quick. Really good episode. I love Nico and Ametheo's dynamic as friends and how they truly have come far, and with their Armarouge and him are true. Agreed. When we hit the 10-minute mark, we're gonna get started. Headering should learn Psycho Terrain. So if Armarouge learns Expanding Force, it can use its special effect. Counterparts. And I am doing too many things at once. Hold on. Trying to remember exactly everything that went on here. I have to be honest, I wish the battle animation was just a little bit better. It was a little lacking, but I'm not like too upset. Next episodes should be hopefully better, since we're going up against the hero Pokemon, but we'll see. It's unfortunate, but I just feel like this series is... I don't think the animation's just going to get any better at this point. As much as I hate to say that, I think it's just a done deal. Still suffering from the production issues of the prior series, so this series has had a good start, but yeah. Maybe in the finale we'll have some good animation, but I'm kind of not holding out hope at the moment. I mean, also, the idea of a knight getting stronger, defeating dragons makes sense. Will they actually save the hero Pokemon in the next episode? They said that this is their last chance, so my assumption is yes. They had a whole extra week to work on it. I mean, even 1 week I don't think is still gonna fix it. Unfortunately. I feel like you need more time. That's why I feel like the series needs an actual proper break, not just like a few weeks. And they can refine the series a bit. I've seen people who were mad Roy and Alt lost, but What? They didn't really lose, though. Did they not read the subs? They literally said that they battled so many people. Nice. Complete Majora's Mask. I think the series needs to end earlier, so maybe it will do a mini-series that will last a few months. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to stop there because it's over. Stream's been going on for over 10 minutes and I still have not started my summary. So we're going to stop right there in the chat. We're Sharon mentioned that they need to maybe do a mini-series. We're going to stop there, and I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, summarize this episode. Okay, so episode 124, Pokemon Horizons. So we start off with a Metheo surveying the area. It looks like we're about ready to go and break into the Explorer's HQ. So basically, they are all preparing for this. They're preparing to go and save the hero Pokemon, and they come to the conclusion that, you know, with the strong spheres, like, the interesting part is when they previously battled them, they didn't actually attack one another, but they were instead going for, like, Liko and the others. So they surmise that they still, despite the fact that they're technically wild Pokemon now, they still have their bond, their brother, I guess brotherly, sisterly bond, whatever, as a result of being, you know, Lucius's Pokemon. So they weren't willing to attack each other, but they feel like that's slowly withering away with each strong spear use. So, you know, getting recruiting over and over again is probably going to wither that down. So that it's only a matter of time before they can't really, you know, do anything about that. So they have to strike now, and they describe this as pretty much probably their last chance to save the hero Pokemon. Otherwise, it's Jover, literally Jover. So, using their sources within the Explorers, they plan their attack. But before that, it's the calm before the storm. So basically, you know, the adults have them, you know, rest up, eat up, you know, be prepared for the next day. So that when the operation kicks off, they're all ready. There's one interesting moment where Alt and Metheo are actually talking, which I thought was kind of interesting. And you get to see how Metheo has changed. He's actually smiling in this scene. It kind of shows he's actually grown a bit. He remembers pretty much how he was treating Liko in the beginning when he was trying to basically kidnap her by force. And on that day, it was basically rainy and windy. But now it's, you know, calm and peaceful, so, you know, kind of reflects that Metheo is, he has grown, he's developed, and he's he's changed for the better. So I thought that was a pretty neat scene. Didn't think we'd have Alt and Metheo interacting. Anyways, we move on to the actual operation. So the whole plan is to out-scheme the schemer, and more on that in a little bit, but their first distraction is to distract the front, which is Metheo, Konia, and Zur. So they start battling, you know, from the front gates. Then Roy and Alt battle on the top roof as the second distraction. And then this pretty much leads Liko and Dot to breaking into the to where the hero Pokemon are being held. So Dot needs to crack the code to open the door. So she's working on that. Unfortunately, our favorite explorer duo, who clearly are, you know, very competent Pokemon trainers, Indy and Rubella, show up, and they have two Salamances on strong spheres. Looks like Liko's in for a little bit of a battle. But we have Charcadet over here, who's wearing that armor that it got in the previous episode, and it's eager to battle. Meanwhile, Metheo has finished his task, so he joins up with Liko. So as Dot is cracking this code, we have Liko and Metheo teaming up against Indy and Rubella. And yeah, they're, you know, with Salamances, they're kind of no joke on strong spheres, no less. So they're, you know, giving them a bit of trouble. They're managing to hold their own. They're doing, you know, they're keeping up pretty decently, despite all the odds. I know that Cerulege uses breaking armor, you know, to its advantage. You know, Charcadet is absorbing the fire attacks to its advantage, so it's powering itself up. But they're all, on the other hand, Dragon Dance is also powering up the Salamances as well. So they're kind of they're all buffing each other pretty much. But you know, as you can tell, the strong spheres are very they make Pokemon very powerful. So it's not exactly making things very easy for Liko and Amethio. So it gets to a point where Ceruledge and Charcadet, you know, they're pretty much reaching their limits. They can't really do a whole lot more. So Liko comes up with a pretty interesting strategy where, you know, it has Charcadet use Fire Spin, you know, to basically protect Ceruledge in itself from attack. But it leaves them open, you know, to an aerial attack. However, it seems like this was Liko's intention from the start. Because it basically traps them so that they can actually attack the Salamances. And as that's going on, and as they make their counterattack against the Salamances, Ceruledge evolves into Armarouge. A pretty cool evolution, I might say. Pretty well done, if I'd say. I don't know, getting ahead of myself, but yeah. It ends up learning, I think it's Armor Cannon? I actually don't utilize, I never really utilize Armarouge in the games, but I believe it's Armor Cannon. It learns, and I like how Indian Rubella, you know, the Salamances are beyond their limit. They can't really battle anymore, but they don't care. They're forcing it to battle, which you're basically telling them, like, dude, you can't keep doing this. You're pushing them to the point where that's like they've already gone down. Any further, it's gonna be like detrimental to their health, kind of thing. But they don't care. So they end up they take them out completely, but they end up getting a call. Wonder who that's from. So they end up running off. Meanwhile, Dot cracks the code. Roy and Alt show up. Seems like they battled a bunch of grunts and their Pokemon got worn out. But doesn't really matter. The plan's still working. However, we go down there to go get the hero Pokemon. Everybody, each one of them, all with them having 5 characters here: Liko, Roy, Dot, Alt, and Amethio. They each go to one of the hero Pokemon. And it turns out that the schemer was, it seems like this was planned all along. Because once again, Spinel tricks them again. Guys, come on. You keep falling for this. Like, how many times has this happened now? Spinel tricked them again. And this time he's got them all separated out. And we have, Liko versus Onix with one of the hero Pokemon, which I believe I'm trying to remember who's paired up with who. I know it's Liko, Onix, and then Roy, Songo, which I guess that seems to be like their rivals amongst the explorers. Dot, God, I'm trying to remember Chalice, but and then I think it's just Alt and Amethio get left over with Indian Rubella, which I thought was kind of funny. I was kind of hoping for someone else, like maybe like Amethio versus Spinel, but Spinel's the one that's kind of just running the show here. Agate. Dot versus Agate, sorry. But I guess he's kind of anyways, Spinel's kind of running the show, so I guess he's the big bad boss here. I'm trying to remember which hero Pokemon is paired up with who. I believe it's Roy, Galarian, Moltres. Someone in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong somewhere. I think Gouging Fire, Alt. Amethio, Lapras. Maybe Dot, Orbolivia? Or is it Liko or Orbolivia? I'll have to go back and check. And then it's either Cleavor or Liko or Cleavor or Dot. Someone in the chat can probably tell me, but yeah, that's going into the next episode. So everyone's kind of paired off, and having to face off against one of the hero Pokemon. Yeah, I know Roy's battling Galarian Moltres. I remember that one, and an Alt Gouging Fire, and an Amethio Lapras. I know those ones for sure. I'm just saying, I can't remember if it was Liko Cleavor. Was it Liko Cleavor and then Dot Orbolivio? Or was it the other way around? Alright. Gotcha. Okay. But anyways, enough of that. That's pretty much where the episode comes to an end. So, two-parter. So, I think overall I thought this episode was good. I probably don't think I'm going to rate it higher than a 7 for now. Because I think it is a good, like, start to this, like, infiltrating the Explorer's HQ arc. Or portion of this arc. So depending on how this next episode goes, this rating could go up or down. So I'm just going to give it a 7. I thought it was pretty good. It's a pretty decent start. I do like the evolution for Charcadet to Armarouge. It was really nice. Pretty well done. One thing I wanted to point out is that when Charcadet was firing off a bunch of Ember attacks, Amethio kind of notes that. He's like, oh, it can actually do that now? Kind of showing that Charcadet has actually improved quite a bit since its battle with Cerulege a while back. So it shows that it's gotten, a bit stronger. So I'd say there's a ring of its evolution. It got some decent focus over time. So now we wait for Quaxwell to evolve. And then that pretty much is a wrap for all the evolutions for all the Pokemon the characters currently have. So yeah, overall, I thought this episode was good. We'll see how things go in the next episode. Because this is definitely not easy for the characters. They're basically on their own battling the hero Pokemon. They're on strong spheres, so this is not going to be easy. And I don't know how Roy's going to battle with Lucario and Cap down, unless he got some like revives or something, or super potions. I don't know. Same with Alt with Sableye. I mean, he's got Dragonite, I guess, but yeah. But then again, if Lucario and Cap are down, then he has to rely on Kilowattrel and Skeledirge. So maybe those will be his choice Pokemon for this upcoming battle. Maybe we will get some Kilowattrel redemption here. One can hope. Anyways, yeah. We'll see how things go here. I'm very interested to see how this all wraps up, and if we're able to save all the hero Pokemon or some of them. Also, will we see 50% or 100% Zygarde here? Shiny Zygarde. Not sure, but we will find out soon enough. Anyways, let's head on back to the chat here. Okay. We'll start with Thomas's comment. It is also weird that Dragonite is just casually obeying Alt now. Yeah, times change. Maybe Alt has really come around as a character. He has changed quite a bit in just like the short amount of time we've had him, so maybe Dragonite is acknowledging him a little bit more now. So I'm guessing after they save the hero Pokemon, they'll go back to the Dragon Den where Rayquaza is staying and capture it, where Roy will use the Mega Stone on it. I don't know if they'll capture it, but maybe we'll go along with them. And yeah, we'll see about the Mega Stone, as that's what we can pretty much like guess that's what Freed gave Roy, but we'll see. We need that Liko and Roy 3v3 battle where Roy uses Mega Lucario, Skeledirge, Kilowattrel, Liko uses Terra Meowscarada, Hedoran, and Armarouge. Yeah. We'll see if we get that still. Armarouge needs to get rid of Takedown. Yeah, what do you suggest they replace it with? Any Rebella or joke? Well, yep. I need to make my joke post. I love to stay and talk, but I gotta go do something, so talk to you later, gang. Alright, Pokefan. Sorry you couldn't hang out with us today, but if you come back to this stream and you hear what I'm saying right now, you should say something in the comment section. And say, like, I heard you. But thanks for hanging out with us today, even though you're definitely not here anymore. But and again, if you hear this message, hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Hope you have a good rest of the day. Anyways, Sharon says, like, they use random Pokemon each time, and it's like the Pokemon Gotcha machine. Yeah, they just don't care. I don't really, like, mind it so much with them, just because they're kind of nobody characters. They're kind of just fodder. Whereas Team Rocket, you know, despite being fodder themselves, they kind of had actual characters, and we actually liked them. So I kind of didn't really care for the Gotcha machine. But anyways, I don't want to talk about the series that shall not be named. It's neat how Cerulege has the hidden ability weak armor. You said Cerulege. Cerulege evolves. It was probably just a slip of the tongue. I mean, you know what I meant. It's Charcadet. Indian Rebella do not care about their Pokemon. I want to separate them so that he would weaken them. Yep. That's the point. He can take them out individually. Boys battling Galarian Moltres. Think Dot Olivia. Quaxwell gets knocked out. Is it confirmed that Quaxwell gets knocked out? Think Glico released Pagogo in the end? I have no clue. Depends on what Papagogo wants to do. 8 out of 10. So when do you think the final big flash will be? What do you mean? You mean the finale? Is that what you're referring to? Skellydirge does have the type disadvantage against Galarian Moltres. Maybe Kilowattrel will come in and save the day. Dot is using Tinkaton in the next episode. Do you want her to use Goldango, though, and see how it does in battle? Well, to their credit, Kilowattrel has been doing stuff recently. That is good. But like Sharon said here, it does need better moves. Could actually learn something here. Armarouge learning Expanding Force would make sense, since it does learn it at the next level up move, and it would make Heatherine more relevant if Heatherine learns Psychic Terrain and get rid of the Healing Wish. I feel like it would have been an opportunity to give a Cerulege an Armor's Megas and Legends ZA Mega Dimension. I don't think so. It'd be cool, but I think we already got enough in the game. Speaking of which, I literally, like, I know this is kind of off topic and you guys probably don't really care so much about it, but I did put out a short yesterday that you should check out about how to avoid explosions in Legends ZA, and somehow it ended up, like, becoming, like, super big. It is by far the biggest thing that I've put out on my YouTube channel ever. It's pushing 20k views. It is literally the most views I've gotten on anything. It even beats the Marnie Fall in Love with Ash video in terms of views. I still can't believe it. It just I guess I just hit the jackpot with my how I put that out and labeled everything. And it was only about like 10 seconds long too, so I think it was just the perfect length. So check that out if you haven't already. I don't think I'm ever going to get lucky again. My best bet is about 1,000 views if I'm lucky with my shorts, but almost 20k. Oof. Didn't think that would happen. Oh, hey, what's up, Devin? The bird will save the day. Oh, Mitchell, it's more likely than another Earthbound game that bird's been irrelevant for a long time. Look, Devin. Look, bro. A guy can wish here. And I'm that guy. I am rooting for the burb. I'm on my hands and knees begging for this burb to do something like big. Make up for everything. If I'll say this right now, if Kilowattrel like comes through here and literally like becomes the MVP in the battle against Galarian Moltres, everything that I've been frustrated with in the past, all gone. It'll be the Chad bird. I'm surprised Lucario still does not have a fourth known move. No, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. We'll use electric moves on Moltres, which is super effective. Yeah. Though we gotta figure that the strong spheres makes them very powerful. That even like super effective moves can't just wipe them out. Also, it's a legendary too. Harry needs better moves. She has confusion, Psycho Cut, Healing Wish, and Heal Pulse. Like get rid of confusion for Dazzling Gleam. Yeah, we'll see. Healing Wish for Psychic Terrain. I don't understand why the algorithm doesn't like you. You make good, consistent content. Well, thank you. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm like the best. I mean, I try to make diverse content here. The anipoke content is one niche, but I got my gaming content and shorts, so I try to keep it a little diverse here, so. But, I don't know. At the same time, I do like having a smaller channel, because it allows me to actually interact more easily with my viewers. Whereas if I were bigger, it would be way difficult. If the chat was moving like, super fast, I wouldn't be able to read anything. I'd be like, oh, I can't even read it. It's just a wall of text just flying at me. So this is nice. I do maybe a little bit bigger than I'm currently right now. Maybe if I could get to 10k subs, that'd be cool. Then we'd be getting somewhere. Be nice if I could do this full time rather than work full time and try to manage this somehow. If I didn't have a job, I'd probably put more effort into this. Get rid of Spark and give Kilowattrel Discharge and give it Hurricanes. The algorithm isn't a Charizard fan. Good, that's my theory. Oh. But Devin, you love Charizard. Fizz told me so. I'm waiting for Fizz to come here and rate this. Give a rating of like 6. And then or maybe a 7. Yeah, get it? I do want Liko to Terrasilize Armarouge and for it to have a different Terra type. We already have a Fire and Psychic Terra type. It'd be neat. Kilowattrel should be Terrasilize and have Electric Terra type. Yes. I've been wanting that for how long? We only have so much more time horizons. Do the thing. Anyways. What Terra type would they make Armarouge? Beats me. What do you think? What do you in the chat think? If only you could follow the clues. Oh. Well, I just want to take a minute here to say, hey, thanks for hanging out with us today and checking out the stream. Do me a favor and, hit that like button. I would definitely appreciate it. We are at 6 likes right now. Maybe we could get to 10 likes. That would be cool. So if you haven't already liked the stream, do so, please. And if you've already liked it, you've already done your part. And also vote in the poll. We are currently at, as long as I can get this to work, only 6 votes. And it is a tie between 10-9 and 8-7 with no votes going to 6-5 or lower than 5. So that means if you haven't voted, you might want to vote, like, right now. Because if we got 7 people watching, there should be, at least 7 votes. Just saying. Hey, what's up, Beast Mode God? Great episode. Yes, it was a great episode. Good, great, whatever. Maybe poison. Poison could work. I do think Armarouge and Ceruledge are cool Pokemon. One of the few things about Scarlet and Violet's existence. Yeah, I know, brother. There's a few. There are like as much as I dislike Scarlet and Violet, there are a few things that I will concede that I do like. Armarouge and Ceruledge are good. Larry is a cool gym leader. I mean, he's the best. Haschel's funny. Arven's arguably one of the best written rivals, alongside like characters like N, for example. And then there's a few other things too that I can praise, but then my praise kind of ends after a certain point. At least the Switch 2 version apparently fixes the massive like elephant in the room that the game had for when it launched, with all its bugs and frame rate issues and glitches and yeah. Anyways. Ty, they are cool. Oh. Random thought, it is crazy that no one in the anime has ever battled a Volcarona. It's one of the most iconic Gen 5 Pokemon, yet was never used in battle in the anime. You know what, bro? I think you're right. Yeah. Maybe we should correct that maybe in the next anime. Especially if it gets like some type of like... Well, actually, wait a second. Didn't it get a freaking, not a new form, but didn't it like a paradox version of it? Am I right? I'm pretty sure. It's been a minute. I'm pretty sure it got like a... Was it like one of the ones in Violet, I think? Maybe? Well, missed opportunity there. Can Armarouge learn Sludge Bomb? That's a good question. I don't know. Like I said, I actually didn't use Armarouge when my playthrough of Scarlet and Violet. And in Legends ZA, I chose Ceruledge, and I don't use Ceruledge as part of my team. I actually haven't played Legends ZA in a couple weeks now, since I'm pretty much done with the game. Outside of completing the Hyperspace Lumiose decks. So I think after they get Rayquaza, they will work on gathering the 18 Terra types. Yeah, I think once they got the... Okay. I think once they have the hero Pokemon all kind of gathered, the final task for them is gathering the 18 Terra types. Which I feel is going to possibly evolve other people. Like Nimona, probably Penny. It would be cool if maybe Arven and Kieran, got some relevance here. And maybe before this final battle, we get, like, some interactions with them, and maybe they join the team. And then some other characters that we bonded with throughout our journey. And then we could put a whole Avengers cast together to go up against Spinel and the Explorers. That would be cool. But yeah, I think that's probably going to be the next step. That could have been Alder in Best Wishes or Black and White, but he was too busy trying to hit on Cynthia. Oh, Alder. Can we blame him, though? Devin, can we blame him for that, though? Just saying. I'm surprised no one has used Mabostiff in battle yet. You know who could actually probably use Mabostiff in battle? You know a certain character that has Mabostiff in the games that could appear in the anime here, more prominently than its one cameo, and could actually use Mabostiff in battle. Arvind. Just saying. Yeah, I got 2 Paradox Pokemon that were never used in battle. The only thing Volcarona did in the anime was being chased by poachers without battling. Dang. Needs its redemption arc. Ugh. Roy needs to have a 3v3 battle against Nimona. We'll see if it happens, but I think we got bigger fish to fry currently. Unless they wants to toughen him up. We got a shiny Volcarona in the anime, but no battle. Oh yeah! I forgot about that. Also, we have not seen Qualf in battle yet. Yeah, there's still there's still a few Pokemon we haven't shown off here. Are we going to possibly do that? I don't know. Depends on what the series decides to do here. Anyways, hold that thought for a second. I'm going to get a drink of water because I am so thirsty, dude. It is extremely cold where I live right now. You guys want to know how cold it is? I'm not going to obviously tell you where I live, but do you know how cold it is where I'm currently at? It is currently 2 degrees outside. It is freaking cold. So my heater is working overtime right now, and it is making me a little thirsty, so I'm going to get a drink of water. So you guys don't go anywhere. I'm literally going to be moving from where I'm at to the other side of my room to grab this water bottle, so give me 1 second. Wow, would you look at that? I'm back. I just moved from one side of the room to the other, and I came right back. Took a long time. We have also not seen Veluza battle either. Well, the series is still not over yet, so there's a chance we could, go back and do something at Area 0. I don't know. A lot of different things has happened in the series right now to the point where it's kind of hard to predict. I've said this before, but it's hard to predict where we're going next. Oh yeah, there was one in Project Mew, and the less I remember that, the better. Yeah, it's a series that shall not be named. The less that we remember the series that shall not be named, the better. But hey, wait a second. What series are we talking about, Devin? I don't know. It was a certain series. I can't really think about it. I heard that, we cannot name it, So, I don't know. I think it's irrelevant now. Alright, jokes aside, but yeah. But yeah, where was I? Roy will use Skelly Dirge, Mega Lucario, and Kilowattrel, and Nimona will use Terra Palmont, Maybe Gudra and Decidueye. Then we'll get the final battle between Roy and Nimona. The Forbidden series. Yeah, we can't talk about that Beast Mode God. Bad things happen when we talk about it. You know, one day you're like, thinking about, the Horizon series and everything's good, but then you think about the Forbidden series and then you accidentally slip on an ice cube and break a bone. I don't know. It's forbidden for a reason, bro. Oh, man. Still got 8 people here, though. Brady. I'm just calling you Brady. Hey, what's up? Hope we see more, but I don't want the Pokemon anime to copy the Yoko no Noi anime. How so? If this series ends earlier than expected, the anime will go on a 4 or 5 month break. We don't know if it's gonna end early though. I know there's some rumors going around, but I'm gonna tell you right now that I don't believe anything until I get something official at this point. There's been so many leaks regarding this series about different things going on that have not come true, so until we get some type of official word from the series, I'm not kind of buying it. Unless we get something like, obviously, Quaxwell's evolution is pretty much inevitable at this point. But that's because of merchandise and stuff like that. We know for certain stuff like that. But, until the series is basically telling us that, it's coming to an end and the next series is, on the way, yeah, I'm not buying it. And case in point, Horizons was announced in December of 2022. And it started airing in April of 2023. So basically, we knew about Horizons roughly 4 months before it started airing. So my expectation would be a similar length for whatever is coming next after Horizons. And also to prepare us for potentially saying goodbye to Liko, Roy, Dot, and Alt, and the gang here. That being said, I really do think the anime needs to seriously consider taking a break, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably not going to happen. Due to its schedule, it would lose its time slot. And there's a lot of money in the series, and unfortunately, it's just a symptom of the system that it's just stuck in. Pokemon is kind of too big for its own good at this point, so I would love the series to take a break because it desperately needs it. It desperately needs it. It needs some type of hiatus or to do something like what One Piece is now starting to do, moving forward, where it's no longer a long-running series and it's going to do 25, 26 episodes a year now. I think Pokemon should consider doing something like that in order to kind of give the room a little bit more time to breathe, improve the quality and writing of the series. And also streamline it a little bit. Yes, we'll have less episodes, but we can also streamline it, with better writing, better animation, and, maybe less characters. Maybe just have, 2 characters, and actually just 2 characters for the next series. Something like that. But I don't know. I'm not an expert in this. I don't, know 100% everything that goes on behind the scenes. But I can just tell by how the series is going now that unfortunately it's just, the animation is kind of just not the greatest. And it's not the animator's fault, by the way. Unfortunately, it's just time constraints and, the long-running format. It's just taking its toll, not to mention, the pandemic has just weighed down on the series and it's never fully recovered since then. It's unfortunate, but, what else can we do? Anyways, it is much more surprising with Volcania because it is one of the most powerful and iconic Pokemon. is almost godlike in lore. It has been a decade and a half, and it's never battled. Oof. Veluza is a brand new Gen 9 Pokemon, and it's a generic fish. Volcarona is a godlike, and the Ace of the Champion. Yeah, a little bit of a difference. I mean, the thing is, though, that they want the Pokemon series to end around when the new generation comes out. That being said, Horizon started well after Scarlet and Violet came out, though, so they kind of changed the pattern there. And once this arc ends, we will get some sort of confirmation on when the series will end. Yeah. I don't want the Pokemon to be a seasonal anime. I just wish they would go back to the pre-COVID days. Sun and Moon was a weekly anime and didn't have the production issues. So was X and Y. Well, yeah, but this pandemic really kind of just messed everything up to the point where it literally has not recovered. We don't have movies anymore, and the weekly anime has kind of suffered too. We've had, animation issues, for a while. We had those episodes near the end of the series that shall not be named that literally was just like recap episodes. And it was done because they had to fill in the time and they didn't have anything to air for that day. Because they were, little did we know they were working on that, Ash versus Leon final battle, but yeah. I don't know, man. I'm kind of at the point where I really think that they need to consider a break of some sort. Whether it's go seasonal or just take a break for a couple months and then come back. But unfortunately, it's just probably not going to happen because they'll lose that time slot. It's a prime time slot. And although streaming is kind of taken over like TV, TV's still prominent in Japan, so... Yeah, it is what it is. I can't really speak on it, and I don't want to claim I'm some type of expert because I'm not. It's just from what I can see, what I can perceive as a viewer is happening, and what I think could be a solution, whether it is or not. We saw Larvesta in battle. I think the Pokemon Direct in August will announce something on the new anime. No, probably not. That's if we get a Direct in August. They don't always have them, but we probably will have it since Gen 10 is pretty much all but guaranteed to be coming later this year. You should watch the Generation 10 anime. Well, I'll decide if I'm going to watch it or not. We'll see. I might still continue watching it. I might skip. Who knows? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. It's still up in the air. It's, I still have a pretty decent audience here that keeps up with the anipoke content. And although I really didn't, in the beginning I wasn't actually sure if I was going to do Horizons or not, I decided to stay with it, and, here we are. Still going strong almost 3 years later. Crazy to think that this series is going to be 3 in April. Good lord. Anyways, now that I got a second here, now that I've caught up with chat, just want to say, if you haven't already, be sure to like the stream. It helps a lot. You can also hype the stream/video after the stream's over, because, well, hypes help the channel. And help promote videos. So you should do that. And remember to vote in the poll. We are currently at, once again, 10-9 and 8-7 is completely tied with 8 votes. Will you do a video on when we get a look at the new main characters and the new poster? Maybe. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, Sharon. We never saw AI Turo and Sada in the anime, and they were important characters. Well, they're important characters of the game, but they're not important characters to this series. In addition to that, a very important character that's tied to these two characters, Arvin, has like done nothing in the series. So, yeah, I kind of need Arvin to like have these two characters. Alright guys, we are pretty much about an hour into this stream now, so I'm not gonna go too much longer after, we hit the 1 hour mark here, as I got an obligation at about 2 o'clock my time today. So, I'd like to know if you guys got anything else you want to talk about in the I can't speak. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about in regards to this episode or the next episode? And where do you think we're heading from here? Arvin probably will have an arc at the end, but his parents probably won't appear. That's pretty much my expectation at this moment, unless we somehow rope in Miraidon and Koraidon. Which, I don't know how I feel about that, because we already have quite a few legendaries in this series, but we'll see. The grand characters not getting the shine. The grand characters. Granddad. Granddad. Flintstones. So, would Liko have to release Pagogo at the end of the series? Oh, why would she do that, Sharon? Why would she do that? What reason would be... my question would be to you is, what reason would she have to... Or what would be the reason for Pagogo to, leave Liko? Also, Diana will join them in the final battle against Spino. Yeah, I'm kind of, like I said, if we're going to get 18 Terra types, we're probably, and these Pokemon have to be on the level of the hero Pokemon. That's why it leads me to believe that characters like Nimona and Penny, maybe Arvin and Kieran, if they become relevant here soon, are going to be involved in the end. That's why I'm hoping that, probably after this, if we get the hero Pokemon, we get Rayquaza. The next step would be like getting the 18 Terra types. That'd probably be like the final goal that Liko and the others have in order to be able to, go back to Rakua, which will be where the final battle takes place, and to destroy the Requiem core. Freed will be involved. So my expectation is, that's just my expectation, is we'll probably be gathering a bunch of characters to help out here at the end, because I don't expect all their Pokemon to be hero Pokemon level. Because if they're hero Pokemon level, oh my goodness. She's already joined the group. Multiple times. After they defeat Spino, Gita will give the gang an invitation to the Orange Academy Ace Tournament for the heroic efforts, which will kick off the Arvin arc. Oh, I forgot about that in the games. That would be interesting. That could actually suffice for, like, the, regional tournaments, or the tournaments we have in previous Pokemon series. The question would be, who would win? Would it be Liko? Would it be Roy? Or would it be someone else? I mean, I feel like Pagogo, after using all of its power to eradicate all the recurring in the world, will go back to a long slumber. Maybe, but I don't know. I feel like I feel like Pagogo is essentially Liko Pokemon now, since it was like, within her family, so I feel like she has every right to basically keep that Pokemon, but, whatever the series decides to do, I guess. We also need an episode where Freed comes back. That might actually happen a little bit sooner than you think. I mean, he had to go back and tell the people at the Space Center that, hey, my mission's complete. And do a few other things, but he'll probably be back. It would be cool if maybe he brought Steven along instead of him just showing up and, like, as a cameo, he actually does something here. But then again, it'd probably maybe not gonna happen just because we kind of got that in X and Y already, so probably not. They will catch the hero Pokemon in Pokeballs since the ancient Pokeballs were destroyed. Bruh. Why use regular Pokeballs? Get Ultra Balls. Or get something that can catch them more easily than a regular Pokeball. An episode focusing on what Freed is up to at the moment. That'd be cool. I don't like Freed after not telling the gang that he was okay with no good reason. Well, he's gonna come back at some point, bro. It's just a matter of time. Alright. Alright. Man. Hope we're all doing good today. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'll do this one last time for the stream, but if you haven't already, again, hit that like button if you haven't already. Currently at 7 likes. Be cool if we could maybe push that to 10 likes, but, if we get close, I guess that works too, but please like. I'm begging you. I have a family to feed. And remember to vote in the poll. Currently, we still are tied with 10-9 and 8-7. With 8 votes, with 4 going to each category. We also need a Roy versus Freed 3v3 match. I don't know if we need... Like, this is the third 3v3 match you've mentioned in this stream. I don't think we need, like, every single character of a 3v3 match. I think Liko and Roy would be cool. Roy and Nimona would be also a maybe. Roy versus Freed 3v3, we could do that, maybe in like the epilogue, I don't know, to basically test if he is truly worthy of leading the Rising Bolt Tacklers moving forward. Also, 100% from Form Zygarde would not fit in the building. Oh well, just bring the building down and spin all. Anyways, peacing out. Alright, Thomas. Thanks for hanging with us, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, anything else, guys? This will be the last call. Try to keep your comments, relevant to these 2 episodes. Anything else? Got mighty quiet up in here. I think it would be cool if Freed passes the torch down to Roy, where he stays as the leader of the Rising Bolt Tacklers. I feel like that's kind of what already happened, but yeah. Hey, Sonic 2 Lo-Fi remix. Alright, last call for anything. We'll be wrapping things up probably in the next 5 minutes. I mean, a Roy versus Nimona 3v3 battle needs to happen since Roy lost to Nimona last time, which means he would beat Nimona in the final battle between the two. I mean, at this point, yeah, if they had a final battle and... I feel like at this point, yeah, he's getting to that point where, like, if he wins against her, it's not that big of a deal. He technically won once, but that was on a technicality. But yeah, if he's going to if we're gonna wrap this series up with at the very end, then yeah, I think it'd be a good end for Roy to defeat Nimona at the end. He has done it by giving Roy the helm. Yes, our boy Roy. He did it. Oh, it looks like 10-9 is taking the lead here at the very end. Someone really liked this episode enough to give it 10-9. Oh, golden saucer. Also, the 3v3 battle with Liko versus Roy, I feel would be an epilogue episode where they depart. Gotcha. I'm back. Sup, Poke fan? Welcome back. Showing up at the tail end of the stream. Got anything else? Or got anything to say before we check on out of here? Anything at all? This is your chance to say something. We also never saw Roy's parents. But Sharon, what if they show up at the end? Just saying. Excited for next week for sure. Yes, me too. Also a little nervous. Depends on how the community reacts. So have Roy reunite with his parents, yeah. Yep, just like Ash's father, who we never saw. Ooh. Alright, 2 more minutes, guys. Once I see 110 here, we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to go eat now. Sorry for coming back so late. My bad. You're good. We're over an hour into the stream, so it's pretty much, at the point where we're wrapping up anyways. But thanks for coming back and hanging with us, even if it was for a brief moment. I will let you get back to your food. Enjoy your lunch. Speaking of lunch, I need to go eat lunch before I head on out myself here. Who would win in the Liko versus Roy 3v3? I don't know. I almost feel like Liko might actually pull off the victory at the end. But she's kind of got an uphill battle since Roy's got the advantage of having, Mega Evolution and being able to terrestrialize, within battle, whereas Liko just can only terrestrialize one Pokemon, unless Terapagos is involved. Might kind of throw things for a loop there. Will we see Penny again? I don't know, Sharon. What do you think? Alright. Nice stream. Yep, it was nice. Well, on that note, since things have been calming down here, Not to mention I have to use the restroom desperately. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this stream for today. We've been going on for a little over an hour, so time for us to head on out. And I got somewhere I need to be, so time for me to kind of, you know, chill before I have to leave. Nothing left to say. Gotcha. Alright, we're going to end the poll. 9 votes. We got to get some more votes up in here, ladies and gents. But it looks like 10-9 managed to pull off victory in the end. I'm giving the episode a 7 still. We'll give it an 8 just because, like I said, like depending on how this next episode goes, this episode's rating might go up or down. Depending on how this next episode goes, just because this is a 2-parter and, you know, they're connected, so if it ends up being a good, you know, finish here for this 2-parter episode, then yeah, this rating will go up, but we'll give it an 8 because you guys 8.5. How about that? Between my rating and the 9/10. So yep. Anyways, guys, that does it for today's stream. We'll be doing this again next week. I think the first, I will say, it's obviously not next week's stream, but I believe the week after. I'm going to be busy that Saturday, so we probably won't be doing the stream until that Sunday. So just a heads up for, I think, episode 126's live discussion. For this next week, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I have a major thing going on at my house on Wednesday. Some major work is being done, and I'm not going to have power for pretty much most of the day. So I probably won't be doing anything at all that day. Even if we get like episode titles and stuff like that, it'll probably have to be done the next day or something like that once all my electrical issues are wrapped up. I think I'm going to try to stream Monday and Tuesday. And then we'll see about Thursday, Friday. I don't know. And then we'll probably do the stream next Saturday unless something comes up. So, anyways, yeah. That's all I got. And if you got a second, if you haven't already, check out my short, How to Avoid Explosions in Pokemon Legends ZA. Somehow almost got 20k views. If you guys could go and like that and support it, I would appreciate it. Let's get to 20k views. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to stop chatting now so I can use the restroom. So anyways, guys, if you're still here, thank you so much for joining me. Have a good day or night, Riverette. And I'll see you all later. Bye.